You can get coffee. No one's keeping
Right?
tabs. Don't worry.
All right,
Gotta
here
get
we
up,
go.
go. Gotta go to the bathroom. You don't have to ask
For.
permission. Just go.
All right. So we're recording now, and I'm going to mute you. So if you need anything, just unmute yourself. Here we go. Continue. I'm going to put my chat out. Here we go. All right. So first of all, I am going to be putting everything. I'm going to share my screen with you for a minute. Everything that I'm doing right now is going to go into my Rockville Center Remote Learning Google Classroom. You did receive a link for that, but I will resend it again after that. Inside classwork, there's going to be a section called Summer Programs, and today's training is going to be in here along with, I have a physical outline. I printed it out myself so I could keep on track today. This is in a Google Slides form, so it can serve as a tutorial for you as well. You will also see, this is a nice document that you can share with students. And if you want, it's making the most out of office hours. You could change that to say whatever you want. Control your environment, giving your students tips on how to make the most out of their Zooms. If you like this and want to make it your own, you could go File, make a copy of the entire presentation and make it your own, okay? That's in there as well. And then we also have the Zoom breakout rooms video, and then, which I'm going to show you during the workshop today. And then I'll have this recording in there as well. So that will be there for you, okay? I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a minute because I just want to talk to you a little bit about your space. What you want to make sure you do when you're giving a video conference, I'm so hot right now because I turned off my air conditioning, is you want to make sure you're in a quiet space. Make sure there's not a lot of noise and action going on that could be distracting to your students. So pick a space that can be quiet for you. You want to, you don't want to be backlit. If you look in my Google Classroom in the Seesaw ones from the beginning of this whole thing, you'll see I almost look like an angel with a halo because I was always backlit and you really couldn't see my face. You want to make sure, so what I did is I literally turned my desk around. You want to make sure that your light source is coming from the front so your students can see you. Anything coming from the back is going to cast a weird shadow on you and you're going to get all, you're going to be in shadow and it'll be all dark and it'll be hard to see your face, okay? They do have virtual backgrounds. Keith and I were just talking about this. Virtual backgrounds are cool, but sometimes when you move your arms around, you could see the movement. So it's really nice. I mean, I have my window shaker air conditioner back there. It would be nice if I had a better background. But if you could, like I told Keith, if you look at Keith's little box, that's like a great background for a Zoom conference. So there are virtual backgrounds. I could show you how to do that. But sometimes it's better just to have a pleasant looking background there for you, okay? If you do use a green screen, you must make sure, your virtual background, you must make sure that you contrast with what's behind you. So if you are in front of a black wall, don't wear a black shirt. If you're in front of a white wall, don't wear a white shirt. So if you have, if you're doing a virtual background, you just have to make sure that there's a contrast between you and your background so that you could be seen. If not, you're going to kind of blend in, or actually you'll disappear. Your image will start to disappear. Okay. So what you want to do when you're doing the overall process here for this workshop, we're going to talk about settings now. We're going to customize our settings. So now I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. Whether you do your workshop, your Zoom on a computer or a device, you must manage your settings on a browser, okay? I think you can do it on Safari or Chrome on an iPad, but I always do it on a computer. So if I go into a new browser and I say zoom.us and I log in. Now, when you signed up, let me back up for a minute too. When you signed up, you should sign up with your Rockville Center email and make sure you indicate that you are a teacher. Because if you don't do that, you're going to get cut off at 40 minutes. I'm fairly certain that as educators, we can just go and go and go. I'm hoping that wasn't a feature that they kept through the school year. If by chance we get cut off after 40 minutes, which I don't think is gonna happen, just click on the link. Give me a couple of minutes, click on the link, and I'll restart, we'll pick up where we left off, but I think we're gonna be fine. But that is only if you have an educator account. So like I have a personal account too as well. That one I get cut off at 40 minutes. Okay, so that's important. When you're signing up, make sure you're signing up as an educator. Then when you're in here, in order to get to your settings, I'm at zoom.us, I've logged in, I go to my account, okay? From my account, on the left side over here, I have all of my settings. Here's my, I'm sorry, I have my profile. So this tells me, all my personal information that I put in when I was signing up. I'm going to skip the meetings tab. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Webinars, we're not going to talk about. Recordings, this is if you want to record your sessions. I think in talking to Keith and Chris, we're not going to be talking about recording sessions because that's not something you're going to want to do. And then the settings is where you're going to make sure everything is set up properly. You know what I've missed? I've lost my, hold on. I've lost my chat. Hold on. Chat. Okay. Just want to open that up, make sure I have an eye on that. So in your settings, on the left, you click settings. You have your meeting settings, which is the most important part. Your recording settings, like I said, I wouldn't even set up recordings. I record because you're all grown-ups and I tell you, and I tell you could turn off your picture if you want to. But what I would do is not do the recording. And then telephone sign in, I haven't even played much with that. We haven't had any issue with kids getting audio. That's with, if you have a problem getting audio, or if you wanted to, instead of having a device, they could call in and hear just the audio from the recording, from the Zoom. Okay, so here, your security. Over here, you see mine is gray. I think that's because I'm an educator account. I must require a password when scheduling new meetings, okay? And you want to do that. You want to have a password. My opinion, and what I do is I keep it simple so that it's not a lot of, what was that password? You can, there's a default one that pops in there for you, but you can always change it when you're when you're creating your account. But you do want to require passwords when you're dealing with students. Instant meetings, I never really do instant meetings. Joining by phone, a lot of this stuff isn't even really applicable. Do we want to get into personal meetings? What do you think, Keith and Chris? Should I talk about the difference between a personal meeting and the scheduled meeting, or does that complicate things? What do you think?
I don't think you need to, Laura. I would
Okay.
definitely touch on waiting room.
Okay. Yep.
I agree.
So
We don't need personal IDs.
okay. So here, waiting room. The waiting room is important. You don't want kids, you want to be able to let kids in so you could see, so you'll see their name when they're trying to come in the room. You'll see their name and you'll either recognize it or you won't. Even if you recognize it, you're kind of on alert. So this way, let's say like somebody in here had RVC123 as their username. So it wasn't even a person in my mind. But when you come in, when the person comes in, you see their picture. If you don't know who that person is, you can get rid of them. You could take them out of your meeting. But you want to put your waiting room on. I sometimes have it on. I have it on. There was a waiting room today for some of you in the beginning. Normally when I'm working with teachers, I don't leave it on because I don't feel as worried about security. But you want to have your waiting room on. So what this does, when I turn it on here, that is the default. So when I start a meeting, the waiting room is automatically on, okay? I can always turn it off when I'm in there, but this is dealing with the defaults, okay? Enable password in invite link for one-click join. You don't want this because what that does is if you give them the one-click join, they don't need their password. They don't need to use that password. So you want to make sure this is disabled, okay? Enable the waiting room, disable or make it gray, the password invite link, okay? Only authenticated users, you don't want this to be on because then kids who don't have Zoom accounts, which is, your kids, they won't be able to get in the room. This is more for like, for organizations that are using it as an organizational account. Okay. When you schedule your meeting, do you want the whole, this is the default. You could always change it. The default when I schedule a meeting is that my video, I'm the host. So the host video will be on. The participant video will be on when they enter. I like that too, because this way you get to see who it is. Audio type, we don't need to worry about. Join before host, you do not want this enabled, because then the kids can come in and have a party without you, okay? So you wanna make sure this is gray. Enable personal meeting ID, we're not gonna worry about that. Use personal, we're not gonna worry about the personal meeting IDs. I like to mute the participants on entry. So this way, if somebody shows up late, they don't come in making a big noise automatically. You know what I mean? They could always unmute themselves, but this way, at least they have, you know, they'd have to take a step in order to disrupt your meeting. Upcoming reminder, we're gonna skip. In meeting basics, require encryption. To be honest, I don't know what that means. I have it off, I don't know what that means. Chat, you want to, well, this is up, do you want to enable the chat or do you want to disable the chat? This is just the default too. You can turn it on and off once you're in the meeting, okay? So with the chat, you're going to, the chat can be saved as well. The chat will be saved for you, and I'll show you how that works later. And when a meeting's over, you'll get a folder if you're on your computer. If you're on a computer, you'll get a folder that has the chat saved for you. And that's not on an iPad, I don't think. Private chat, allow private chats. That's up to you. I don't think that's a great idea with kids, but maybe there's a circumstance that I'm not thinking of. Auto saving chats, here we go. This is on a computer. Don't know if it's on an iPad. I'd have to look at that if you want me to later. Sound notification, I like to know when somebody's coming in, okay? Play sound for everyone, that's what I would do, okay? And then I need to save this. I don't know why it said host and co-host only. File transfer, we're not gonna worry about. Feedback to Zoom, no, no, no. Always show meeting controls. Oh yeah, you wanna see your control bar because it's hard to find things if you can't. So that's what I leave on. The control bar is your tools, you know, all your tools, which I'll get into in a bit. Show windows, Zoom windows during screen share. I like that. Screen sharing, who can share? If you want students to be able to share their screen with you, you would put all participants. I need to have this on, especially when I'm working like one-on-one, because sometimes I'll have to have a teacher show me what they're doing. So you can have all participants share, but who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? You probably only want the host to be doing that. So this way you have control. Sharing your screen means sharing any kind of, anything other than Zoom. Like if you're on a computer, that means sharing your browser or maybe a Word document or a PowerPoint or something like that, your email. And when you're on an iPad, it means sharing other apps or even a whiteboard. We're going to get into whiteboard today too. So you want to share, I would say probably, I don't know, it depends on how you're going to run your class. If you don't want kids to be able to share their screen, you say host only, okay? And then who can start sharing, you want to have control. No matter what happens, this is what I would have selected, the host only for you. Does anybody have any questions on that? Good? Okay. Annotation. Who can annotate? Allow saving of shared screens with annotation. Do you want annotation to be possible? If you're going to use a whiteboard, you have to have that enabled, okay? Allow saving of shared screens with annotations. I don't even know. Oh, there you go. Zoom Rooms Touch will support this in future release. Students can use whiteboards in their breakout rooms. To be very honest, I don't know if they can be saved. That's something we could play with today if you want to. I didn't even think to try that. But that might be possible, where you say to kids, you send them off in a group and say, have a conversation and put something on this whiteboard and then save it. That might be a possibility. The whiteboard, allowing the whiteboard right there, allow saving of whiteboard content. That looks like it's possible in a Zoom room and in a breakout room as well. Auto save whiteboard content when sharing is stopped. Kind of like that. I'm going to keep that on. The changes I'm making now are not applying to the meeting that we're in. These are only applying to the meetings from here on out. Okay. Remote control. I would turn that off. You do not, it's hard to get that rocking and rolling anyway, but I would probably turn off remote control if I were you, because you don't want kids to be able to, especially you tech savvy kids, you don't want them being able to figure out how to control your screen. That's what that means. Remote control means the participant can control the host screen. Okay. Nonverbal feedback. There's like icons and emojis. That's kind of fun to have in there. Allow remove participants to rejoin. I don't know how you want to do that. I don't know why I have that deselected. I wouldn't have a problem with that in what I do. So you need to decide how you want to do that. Allow participants to rename themselves. So let's say somebody does come in and you don't, they're using their, mother's computer or something, and you have, Harry is using his mother Mary's computer and Harry has Mary as his name. You can allow them to rename themselves. So I would probably leave that on. But what happens is every time they connect, the next time they connect, even if their mother connects, it's going to say their name. So that's a good thing for you. They just have to know that themselves. Hide participant profile pictures in a meeting. That's up to you. Okay, report participants to Zoom. I don't know. I don't know that you don't want to do that. Breakout rooms. You want to have breakout rooms enabled. So make sure you go to your settings to enable your breakout rooms. Okay? All this stuff. I don't do any of this stuff. Closed captioning, save captions. I don't do any of this stuff. Virtual background you should enable if you want to. Use them. All this stuff I don't really think much about. Email notifications. Oh, this is kind of nice. So if you're in, if you set up a meeting and somebody tries to go to that meeting before you get there, it will email you, which is kind of a nice feature. Okay. And when a meeting is canceled, notify. Yeah, I get. See, this one is more for when you're working with an organization, because our kids aren't connected with their emails to Zoom. Okay. Blur snap. I don't even know what that means. And that's it. We can regenerate a thing, but this is it. So everything has been changed that needs to get changed. Those are all your settings. How did I get there? Let me move my stuff around a bit. If you're on the Zoom home screen and you go up to My Account, Settings. Okay? From Zoom, My Account is how you're going to get to where you want to be inside Zoom when you're managing your Zoom meetings and your Zoom account. What I also did up here is I just made a little bookmark to my Zoom meeting so I could schedule a new meeting right from here. So from my Zoom meetings, I just dragged it down to my browser and that I put it on there so that I would easily be able to get to this section. All right, any questions on the settings? Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Any questions on the settings? No, we're good?
Great. I have a question. Hi,
Go for
Phyllis
it.
Kelly.
Hi, Phyllis. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. So I'm at the same time, I have you on my iPad and then I'm on my desktop trying to clean up my Zoom account, and I changed some things that you said, and then I went at the bottom and then it said I wasn't allowed to do that. So and it says like admin on the side so maybe I'm not in as a teacher.
You created your own account, right, Phyllis?
I have my account with my, my school email, but I was a TA during the school year. I'm a teacher. Would it matter?
No, because you just created, because really Rockville Center has nothing to do with your Zoom accounts, right? Because you created your own accounts.
So I hit regenerate and it says update failed.
Oh, I wouldn't even hit regenerate. You don't even need to regenerate. It's,
Oh,
'cause you
okay.
saw, yeah, thanks. I get it now. Thank goodness. So
Oh,
when you're going, you had to save each little thing, right?
oh, and I did that. Yep.
Yeah. So you're good. So you're
Oh,
good.
I'm good. Okay,
And
great.
I
Thank
would,
you.
I kind of just like glanced past it. I didn't even address it. I saw regenerate. I didn't even say anything. I just kept going.
Oh,
So
okay, perfect. So
I
then it
didn't hit that regenerate. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
followed everything you said and I saved it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No? Awesome. Now, scheduling your meetings.
Sorry, Laura.
Yeah, go for it.
I just have a question.
Yep.
I thought it just saved automatically. You don't have to press any save.
Some
right?
of them require a save and some of them don't. You're correct.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
some
Some
of
of
the,
the settings, when you change it underneath it, let me show you. When you're in the settings here, some of the settings will require a save, like, I don't know. That one does not. You see, it just says your settings have been updated. Which one was one? I think like the chat, maybe? No. Which was the one I did? Yes. If I want to change like who can share, that one requires a save. You see that? Some of them will just go, but some of them it will require a little, and you'll see the button underneath it.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on settings? All righty. Awesome. All right. So now meetings. How do you schedule a meeting? All you do is you come here, you click schedule a new meeting, you give it a name. This is my awesome meeting. You can give it a description if you want to. That will appear in the invitation copy later. I usually leave it blank. When do you want it to start? I'm going to have this on July 2nd at 10 o'clock. I could change the time. I'm going to say at 1 o'clock p.m. See, I had to change that. Make sure you get that one right. Now, let me say something about your invitations. I mean, your scheduled meetings. Your scheduled meetings is just for your purposes when you're looking at your list of meetings. If you can start it whenever you want. So let's say I schedule a meeting to go on July 2nd at 1 o'clock. I really could start it at 12:30. I could start it on the 1st. It doesn't matter. This is just for scheduling purposes. It's not like it's automatically going to go live or anything. My time. Do you want it to be a recurring meeting? Okay, your recurring meeting would be if it's something that's going to happen regularly. So you could do a recurring meeting. Or if you could do daily, weekly, monthly. So if those are helpful to you. Repeat see, you could even like do every other day. What I would do, let's say you're doing like a Monday, Wednesday kind of thing. I might set up one for Monday, one for Wednesday. I don't know. That might be confusing for your kids too. Or what you could do is set it up for every day and just have the kids, just hold it, just go in there. Just go in there on the days that you're having class. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? I'm making sense in my mind. If not, let me know. Hold on. I also turned off my chat. Need my chat again. Oh, I do have a question. It pops up if it requires you to save. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Meeting password. This is important. I think you should make it something that the kids will remember. I don't know. Like I said, for everything I do, RVC123. That's what I do for everything. Okay. And people know that by now. So this way the kids are on, what was that password again? Okay. Remember I told you about the defaults before? My defaults come from my settings, but I could still change it as I'm creating the meeting. Do you want them now to be able to join before host? No. So this is the whole thing where you could change those defaults if you wanted to. So I'm going to go back and I always check, make sure I have a good password. The time is correct. I say save. Now here's my meeting. The weekly allows you to choose certain days of the week. Oh, okay. Okay. So here we go. This is the invitation now, or these are the meeting settings, okay? This is, where you find all the information about the meeting. What you can do is you can copy this invitation. Now, since this is recurring, I get all of these dates. But if I copy this meeting invitation, I could put it into an email. So I could just paste it into an email. So from here, I could go to an email and I could say, I'm going to send this to Chris and Keith. And here's our meetings. And then in here, I paste it in. Now, one good thing, another tip for this, and this is a lot of text. So I would probably take out this, because that's a mess. Now, another good tip here, if you want this to be a link, click after it and hit the space bar. It doesn't automatically, and I always get rid of this. I don't know if that's good or bad form. If you don't click it, it's not a link and they'd have to copy and paste it, okay? But what's also good is they have this meeting ID. So if they want to just go straight to Zoom and type in the meeting ID, they could do that again. They could do it that way. And then your password. And then you send it, okay? Or you post it to Google Classroom. Or you post it in Seesaw. Or however you're communicating with your students, all right? Now, whoops, this is the one. Now, if I go to my meetings here, this shows me on Awesome Meeting. Here we go. I have it every day. Awesome Meeting. All right. And if I click on one, and I can then edit this meeting if I needed to. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Leave that up for a second. So that's creating your meeting and inviting your students. Okay? So now, what I'm going to do now is I am going to share my iPad with you, I think. Let me stop mirroring. I'm going to share my iPad with you so that you, how do I want to do this? Let me do it this way, because I think we've decided that a better way to host it is on your computer. It all depends, though, how you want to, it depends. So when I'm here, I'm on my computer. If I go back to Zoom, I can always go back to Zoom to get my bearings. And then I go my account and I go to my meetings. I can start this meeting from here. So I click start. It's not going to work for me right now because I'm in a meeting, but that's what I would do. I would open Zoom and then I would be the host of the meeting and everybody would start coming in. Okay. That's how you start a Zoom meeting. Or, that's how I would start that meeting. It's the easiest way to do it. Schedule it first, start it. Schedule, invite your participants, start it, and then they come. Okay? Any questions on that? No? All right. Another good practice is and I'm just going to throw a couple of things in there that you probably know. Make sure you get there 10 to 15 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes early so that you can let your kids come in and get acclimated and do what you need to do, that you're not trying to greet everybody and start right away. So it's always a good idea to be there a couple of minutes early. Then when you're in the meeting, so this is how I'm going to do this, because remember, I'm in a meeting and I want to show you the meeting. So the way I like to do this is with screenshots. So I'm sharing the screen. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go into a folder I call Zoom screenshots. So when you're in Zoom, this is what it looks like. Oh, and look at my friend Michelle. She looks so pretty. All right. Here is where you see your person who's talking over here, and you can set different things up. So over here you have gallery view. You could switch it to a gallery view where you see everybody on the screen at once. You can exit your full screen. On the bottom are my tools, okay? You have the microphone over here. This is where you could click on here to change, either mute your mic or you could change the microphone you're using. Over here is your video. You could turn off your video or you could change your video camera if you wanted to. Then over here you have security. This is where you could turn your security options on and off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of here and now I'm going to go into, okay, here are the tools. So here are all your tools. Okay. Right now I'm going to talk to you about security. If I click on security, I can lock the meeting. If all your kids are in there, lock the meeting and then nobody's coming in. You can enable and disable the meeting, the waiting room in here. So if you want to have the waiting room on, you could just click it. So if there's no check next to it, it means that there's no waiting room. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that? Because I kind of glanced over that a little bit. Hold on. Let me get I keep losing my, keep losing my chat. All right. Does anybody have any questions on the waiting room? Okay. Because that is a very good feature to have. You want to use your waiting room, but if ever you want to turn it off, it's there. Allow participants. These are my defaults. Remember, we set the defaults in the setting at the beginning. These are my defaults. Do I want to let people share screen? Do I want to allow people to chat? Do I want to allow people to rename themselves? Okay. Or I can remove participants. Okay. I can also, okay, so that's security. Okay. Participants. This is a list of the participant screen. So if I click on participants, I can mute them on entry, allow participants to unmute themselves. You get the idea. These are the things I set in my settings. I could turn them off here. I can lock my meeting here. I can clear all feedback. I can enable the waiting room here as well. So there's a couple places to do everything. Now, these are your participants. This is an old workshop, obviously. So when I'm in here, you see, like Phyllis is raising her hand here so I can see what she has to say. I can mute somebody. I can turn off their video. I can also get rid of somebody from here. If I click on somebody, I can get rid of them from here too. I can take them out of the meeting. Now, down here, I can invite new members. I can mute everybody, which is nice. It would be nice if we had a mute all button when we got back to the classroom, right? So I can mute everybody. I can unmute everybody. And that's there. Let me see. I don't know what's in the more. Hold on. I don't remember. Oh, the more was this stuff. The more was this stuff. Okay. I had them backwards. Sorry. So when you're in participants, this more button, that's all that. Okay. Sharing your screen. All you do when I click share screen, this is on a computer. I say share your desktop because when you share your desktop, some people, it doesn't say desktop. It might say computer or I can't remember. But for me, it says it's whatever's in the upper left corner. That's the one that you're going to double click on or click once and then share. And then you're sharing everything that's on your computer with your students. Okay. Or you could share your whiteboard as well, which we'll get into in a minute. I'm thinking we should do whiteboard right now. So now your whiteboard, I'm going to share the whiteboard with you. So I'm going to go, I'm hovering, hold on. I'm going to show you this. Oops, no. Come on, Laura. I'm hovering on my tools right now. I know you can't see it, which is why it's hard to teach Zoom in a Zoom sometimes. Come on, Laura, quick. Oh, I keep missing it. One more time. Hover. Oh, I keep missing it. Anyway, when I go up here, where it said share, it says new share. So I could stop the share and then do a new share, but I'm just going to do a new share. And now I'm going to say whiteboard. So I'm double clicking on that icon that says whiteboard. Now, you should see tools where you can write on the whiteboard. I want you to try to write something on the whiteboard. So hold on, let me move this out of the way. I want you to see if you can find the tools. If you hover on your toolbar, you should be able to find the tools. Like I said, it's hard for me to show you, to tell you because I'm not on that. So somebody write something on the board and you're going to tell us how you're doing it. So I'm going to draw. Can you guys do it? There we go. Who just did that? Oh, thank you, whoever that was. Okay, whoever did this, you're my favorite.
No, you're my favorite.
Keith, are you on an iPad or a computer?
I'm on my MacBook, and at the top where it said you are viewing Laura's screen, I went over to view options
There you
and
go.
down to annotate. And once you
Okay.
hit annotate, then you have all sorts of
All the
toolbars that
tools,
pop
right?
up.
Yeah. So tell that again one more time, Keith.
Sure. So on my MacBook, I went, excuse me, to the top of the screen where it says you are viewing Laura's call-in screen in green.
Yeah.
And right next to it is a view options with a down arrow. So if I hit that down arrow and I go to almost the third from the bottom says annotate. If I click on annotate, now I have a whole litany of tools. There's text, there's draw, there's stamp, arrow, eraser, yada, yada,
Excellent.
yada. So that's how I was able to insert from there.
Excellent. Is there anybody having trouble finding that? Don't be shy. Is anybody on an iPad that is having trouble finding that? Either shout out.
If you're on the iPad, there should be like a little pencil in a blue circle. If you tap that, it'll open up the menu of tools. I know someone had a question about that.
All right. Okay, give a shout out if you're lost. Everybody's good? Okay. So what I'm going to do, I can save this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the save icon. I'll show you that in a sec. Let me just, oh, I keep missing everything. All right. So I am going to, gosh, I have so many things open here. Come out of here. Okay, where's my Zoom? Here I am. That's another thing. If you lose your tools, just move your mouse all over and try to find them. I lose my tools constantly. So let's see. I'm going to do a new share. All right. Now, what I did was I hit, here, if I go, where's my desktop? There's this icon right here. And when you're the host, there's an icon that says save. I hit that. Then it put it in, I believe this is what it does. If I go here and to my documents, there's a folder called Zoom. And when you have a meeting, Zoom builds a folder for you. And there you go. There's our whiteboard. So it can say, you click save and it'll save it for you. Pretty cool, right? And what you can do is you can have your whiteboard set up with some text if you want to as a prompt that kids can write on, okay? Any questions on whiteboard? I'm gonna stop the share for a sec. Any questions on the whiteboard? Good, awesome. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen again. And I think what it's time for is breakout rooms. Hold on, let me go back to my desktop, clean up desktop. Oops, Zoom backgrounds, Zoom screenshots. All right, breakout rooms. So this is what I did. I created a video to show you breakout rooms because I can't show you the breakout rooms when we're in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the video And then I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. So breakout rooms just means you're going to go into your own little Zoom room with a small group of people. So I'm going to show you this video, and then we're going to go into a breakout room. I know this is going long. I apologize. All right, here we go. This is a video that you will have access to later. All right, so if I play this. So I'm making this recording because when I'm showing you Zoom, I can't, when I'm using Zoom to connect with you, I can't show you these features. So I'm making this little video to show you. And this is going to be about breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are pretty cool. You can send students off into small groups in their own little breakout rooms. A couple of disclaimers here. They will be unsupervised. You can pop in and out of rooms, but you can only be in one room at a time. So most of the rooms will be unsupervised. And you can't record. They're not being recorded inside those rooms. But it's still a really neat feature. So if I come down here and I go to breakout rooms, and I go to, oh, this is remembering my thing from last time. Wait a minute. It's remembering my settings from last time. Okay. When you click breakout rooms, you will see this. You won't see all existing rooms will be replaced, but you'll see this window right here. Now, it will tell you assign 4 participants into how many rooms. So this is how many participants you have in your entire meeting. And it's asking you how many rooms you want to place them in. And then at the bottom, it tells you how many participants are going to be in each room, which is nice and helpful. So here you could always change it. So if I went to 3, this would only have, 1 to 2 participants in each room. But I'm going to keep it at 2. Okay. And then you can manually do them if you want to, but we're going to do automatically because that's, I think, a little bit more efficient because you could still manage it pretty nicely when you do it automatically. So you'll see in a sec. So I'm going to say, it would say create, not recreate, but it's going to say create. Then it gives you the breakdown of the rooms. Okay. Now, if something looks really off, like, oh, we shouldn't put Laura and Jillian together, I could take Jillian, I could exchange her with somebody else. I could exchange her with this one. So now they're going to change rooms. So that's a nice little feature there. Or you could just move somebody to a room as well. All right. Then, but this is all happening on the fly in front of your students. Okay. Just to give you that. Then what you want to do is you want to go to the options. Don't open all your rooms yet. Go to the options and see a couple of things in here. First of all, you want to move all participants into breakout rooms automatically. Yes, I wouldn't want to manually do that. Allow participants to return to the main session at any time. I think the default is on. Now, you probably don't want that because then if a kid wants to just leave their room, they could go to the main session and then that main session can get populated with a lot of kids without you being there. So I would keep them in their room until the time is up. Then, but that's, that's up to you. There might be a reason that I'm not thinking of. So just put that out there. You might just think about that one. Breakout rooms close automatically after how many minutes? So this is, you can just keep it open until you want to close them yourselves. But let's say you just want to give them a 3-minute opportunity, activity or 5 minutes, or you could do it 10 minutes, however long you want it to do. For now, I'm going to do 2 minutes. Okay. Notify me when the time is up. That's a nice feature. Countdown after closing breakout rooms. So after you close the breakout rooms, it's going to give you a couple of seconds to get back to the main room. So I'm going to put 10 seconds for now. Okay. Then I say open all rooms. You can see down here, you could recreate them if they were all a mess. If you're like, oh, this is a terrible combination of kids, let's try that again. You could add a room yourself if you wanted to, which is nice, and then just move kids into it. But for now, I'm just going to say open all rooms. Now, what's happening on all my other devices is they're going into these rooms. So what from here you could do is you could join a room. So let's say I'm going to start in this room. So I say join, and I say yes. Joining breakout rooms. Here we go. So I'm in this room with these kids, okay? And then I could talk to them here. Now, what you can do is you can say leave room, but I think the better way to do it is to go breakout rooms, and then you could just join the other room. Join that room? Yes. So now I'm going to join this other room. Okay, I could check in on these kids. Like I said, I could say leave room, but then it takes a while for you to leave, and then you got to figure out which one you want to join. So I would just go to your breakout room. You could see which one you're in, and you could join the next. And you can even just work your way down if you wanted to. Okay? And then from here, I could also close all rooms. So when I say close all rooms, all right, what happens in Screencastify, since it's not, pandemic generosity anymore, they cut you off in 5 minutes. So, but I got it, I snuck it in there. I got it all snuck into that one little video. So that's how breakout rooms work. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, do you have any questions about breakout rooms? But I'm gonna send you into breakout rooms too. So any questions right now about breakout rooms before I send you into one? I'm just gonna put you in one for about a minute and you'll see how it feels.
Laura, quick question.
Sure.
So when we use the breakout rooms, the idea behind that is to, when we have tests also or assessment, we can break them up into smaller groups, and we'll if you have a TA in your class,
Oh,
they can monitor one group while the teacher
Okay.
monitors the other. Can you flip back and forth between the two groups so the teacher can supervise within
Yeah.
both,
yeah,
and then the TA flip back? Okay.
yeah. So that's what you would do. You would just go down to breakout rooms and click join on the group you wanted to be in.
Okay, great. And if I know if a
Yeah.
teacher's listening to this right now and they're saying to themselves, I don't have a TA, we're going to be able to swap TAs from one class to the other. I'm going to talk about that so that when a teacher is giving a test, and let's say they don't have a TA typically in their classroom every day, they could borrow a TA one day from another class just for supervision purposes so that we could do the breakout rooms in small groups.
Yeah, so that what you would do is when you create your group, you create the group and then you would say move. So you would move the TA into the group you want them to be in. Does that make sense? Do you remember that part? So I wonder if I have a screenshot of that. Let me see if I have a screenshot of that. Nope, desktop. Yeah. So hold on. You won't see it completely, but see how they put these into the groups. And if I hover on Andrew and like say Andrew is my TA, if I hover on him over here, it'll either say switch or move. So I could say, okay, I want Andrew to be in breakout room 2 for the beginning. So I could just say move and put Andrew into the second breakout room. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's actually really cool. That's a great idea. Okay. So now,
Laura,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, it's Andrea Call here. So we cannot set up breakout rooms prior to the Zoom. Like say we say, okay, we definitely need these 3 kids to be in a breakout room because they missed yesterday and we want to catch them up to speed. You can't set it
No,
previous.
you know what I would do with that? No, you can't, because you
Okay.
can preset breakout rooms if you're like an organizational, you have an organizational account where everybody has accounts and they're logging in, but with the free one you can't. But what you could do,
Okay.
and I just thought of this when we were not that one. What you could do is down here, you could create a room. So let's say you have, 15 kids and I can't do the math that well, but you want them in 5 groups. So maybe you put them in 4 groups, then you add a room yourself, and then you take everyone that needs to be in that 5th room, you put them in there yourself. You say move to room 5. Does that
Okay.
make any sense? And then you could always shuffle a couple of kids around to make it more evenly, balanced.
Okay.
Redundant, but you get what I mean, I think, right?
Yes, thank you.
That's cool. All right. Any other questions? All right. Yeah. Do I see a hand? You have to unmute yourself. Yeah, unmute yourself. Wait, let me see if I can unmute you. Hold on. I can't.
Okay,
Yeah, good.
okay, so
Kathleen.
as the TA, the
Mhm.
teacher is actually the one who's setting up the breakout
Yes,
rooms, and
yes,
we're
yes, yes,
being
yes.
handled actually as one of the students. So we don't actually have to do these
Correct.
breakout rooms ourselves, is that correct?
Correct. You will just be in the breakout room. Correct.
Okay, and then he can move us, or the teacher can move us
Yep.
around.
Yep.
So if there's a little group that needs to be read to, that could be like one breakout
Yeah,
room
yeah,
so
yeah.
that we can
Oh,
read
cool.
to
Yeah,
them or whatever.
that's
Okay,
cool. Yep.
okay, thank you.
Laura, quick
Yeah.
question, based on what Andrea asked. So I can set up the breakout rooms ahead of time, and then when I want it, like if kids are out and I know that, I can take those children and put them in a room with Andrea right as the meeting starts. Am I correct in how
You're
that works? Okay.
You're correct. So what you would
Okay.
do, you could even make, let me think. How would you do that? No, but
What does it have to all be done as soon as the meeting starts? I have to grab those kids. and
yeah,
put them
when
in
the meeting,
breakout room
you
and
can't
then
do
move
it
them over, whatever.
beforehand. You can't do it before the meeting starts.
Okay.
Because,
You gotta wait,
5 minutes
Diane,
down.
until those kids are in the Zoom session first, because you can't
Right.
move a person
Right,
that's
and
not
then you
in the Zoom
move them
session yet.
over, after you kind of begin, so to
Right.
speak. Okay.
right. I wonder if
Thanks.
you, I wonder if you could do like one big breakout room. Like you're saying, so you have one room with most of the kids, right? And then you're gonna have a few kids?
Like, in other words, if there are kids that are out, let's say for 2 days, and
Right.
I want to send those children with Andrea,
Mm-hmm.
I have to first obviously start the meeting, and then I have to hit the breakout room, grab those kids, and then put them in a room with Andrea.
Yes.
Okay, I just needed to know the order. It's fine.
Yep.
Okay,
Awesome.
thanks.
You're welcome. All right, we good? I'm gonna put you in a breakout room for a minute. All right, so I am going down to my icon that says breakout rooms. I have 22 participants in 3 rooms, 7 to 8 participants per room. That's too many people. All right, I have 6 rooms going on. I say create breakout rooms. I could change people around. I'm going to my options. The breakout room is only going to be for a minute. And I'm going to give you a 10-second countdown. Okay. So I'm going to give you your breakout rooms. Ready? Here you go. Thank you.
I only see Keith. Bye.
Thank you. All right. So those are breakout rooms. That's pretty much, that's how it goes. That's pretty much in a nutshell what you would do.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. So during the year, I use both simultaneously, my iPad and my iPhone, which were both connected to everything. I would look at the homework, the work on my iPhone while I was talking to the student, the teacher, whatever, on my iPad. If
Mhm.
I'm in a breakout room with a student and I have to read, and I'm using my iPad, what am I reading? Where's the material coming from that I have to read? That's my iPhone? That's from my iPhone? I need 2 devices at the same time. Is that right?
Maybe.
Yeah, you have to. How could you, right?
What you know what? How about I send you into breakout rooms again and then
Yeah, but let me try to read something from the device coming from in other words, the material is coming off my iPad. All the stuff in, the documents, Google
so you
Docs
want
and
to be
all
able
that.
to share your screen in the breakout room? Is that what you're saying?
No, I want to be able to read to a student while I'm in the breakout room on my iPad. I'm looking at them on my iPad, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the student. Where am I getting the material I have to read to them? That's got to come off another
device.
another device. It has to come off my iPhone or
Mm.
computer. In other words, you need more than one device at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I did all year, the last 3.5 months.
Yeah.
You can't just use one device. So just letting everybody
Laura, is there a way that I think, we were talking about with assessments, you can keep the camera running on Zoom and then switch off and look at Google Forms? Like that's an option. I know that that's an option. So maybe the camera is still running in Zoom, but you can view a document on your screen and still read it. Maybe not see the students, but be able to read it.
So you could like me, like right now. So right now you're looking at me, right? But if
Correct.
I pull up right now, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at my computer, my browser. I'm looking at Chrome. So to be honest, I haven't tried that on an iPad. I'm assuming it would do the same thing on an iPad. So you can, or an iPhone. So you have the kids, you're connected to Zoom, and then you just hit the home button, come out of the Zoom. The camera's still running. They can still see you. But you
I'm
can't-
on an iPad right now. Would you like me to try it? You
Yeah,
guys
go
let
for
me
it.
know if you
Yeah.
still see me, and I'll read
Yeah,
something.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
All
Read
right,
some,
let's see. Let's give it a
Let's see
shot.
what happens to Chris.
because this is
All
what we
right.
have to do.
Can you guys still see me?
No, you know what
Yes,
it went
a
to?
photo
It
of
went
you.
to a photo of you, but you're still
Okay.
there.
All right, but I'm still here.
A photo and your
Click
voice,
into-
we hear you.
All right, I'm in a Word document right now. I could read this to you, and you guys can see me, right?
Yeah. So we see your profile picture.
Okay.
Well, it's as if your video's off.
Your video is off.
Right, it gives you just. the
Right.
picture.
Now you're
My
back.
video automatically turned off when I switched out,
Yes.
Right.
It
But
but
switches
the
over.
audio was there.
So the students won't be able to see you reading it. They'll only hear you reading it.
Right.
I
Right.
wonder
Yeah.
if you could
Hmm.
share a screen. Should we try? Do we want to try that? Like Chris and Keith, you want to wait? Chris, you're on an iPad, right?
Yes.
And Keith, what you're on a computer?
I'm
right?
on a laptop.
You're on a laptop, and I'm on a laptop as well. So we go into a
iPad.
breakout room, and the three.
Carol, oh, Carolyn, I would just say I would much prefer to be able to see the students while I'm reading to them. You know, or not.
Then you
have
might need to use the
not
two
just-
devices.
You
Well, I
need to,
did all,
Yeah.
yes, I did like Barbara did, you know, I had my desktop and my iPad, but I
Right.
don't want to lose them or have them just see a picture of me. I really want to be able
Yeah,
to.
that's a good
interact,
point. That's a
Especially
good
with
point.
these type of students, because you don't know if they're leaving the space or if they're
Yeah,
just
no,
thinking,
it's true.
or if you have
Agreed.
to call them back.
And even if
Agreed.
you're
But,
not reading, one of
two
my
devices.
daughters,
Gotta use two things.
one of my daughters had a math teacher, actually her ELA and math teacher, literally had a whiteboard, and he taught them using a whiteboard, and it worked beautifully. So he didn't have to, he wasn't sharing screens and everything. He literally used a whiteboard,
Mm.
which worked nicely.
Well, some of the students that we work with, especially in summer school, really need to be kept on track, to be
Mhm.
kind. You know, they'll drift off, or as I
Right.
said, if I'm not looking at them, some of them don't turn on the camera. And when I was working with them and they didn't answer me, I didn't know had they left. You know, it would be nice if they could only interact with us with the camera on. I don't know how you could do that, but I don't like seeing the black screen and just hearing a voice, because you really don't know what's going on either.
Well, I mean, the student agreement is that went out on the letters, the notification letters, is that
Mhm.
cameras on, mics on is the policy at all times. So
Okay,
you shouldn't
okay,
be
well, I hope
teaching
that-
to a blank screen at all. And
Right,
if there is,
okay.
if you are, then, let me know, and then
Mhm.
I'll handle it. But that's the policy. I'm
Okay.
sure that's going to come up. Like there's no way every kid's going to follow that rule right off the bat.
Right.
We know that. So we're prepared for that. But it is in writing that that's the policy. It went home to them and their parents. So
Okay, great.
we'll play
Thank
off that. That's the expectation.
Cool.
But thank you. Good questions, everybody.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
good questions.
Is there anybody who's going to be a participant that wants to do a screen share? Is that something worth exploring, or is that overkill for right now?
No, that's good if they want to do
Okay,
it.
so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put us in breakout rooms again. Whatever room I'm in, I'll pick somebody. We'll pick somebody in my room too, but Chris will share in his room. Keith will share in his room. If you're in a room without Chris, Keith, or me, then just somebody decide to try to share a screen if you feel comfortable doing it, okay?
So I'm just sharing like the whiteboard.
I don't know,
screen?
would you want the whiteboard, or would you want to share your browser? I don't know. Or try both.
Either one.
All right.
All right, we'll try both.
Okay, so I'm gonna put us.
Should we have someone else try to share it so that they know how to do it?
Whatever works for you.
All right, we'll get in the breakout room and we'll figure it out.
You guys. have
You don't
shared-
mean just go to gallery view, do you? You don't mean that, right? Gallery view?
No. We're gonna try to share a screen, and that's it. Like, so Chris and Keith, you've both shared a screen before. That's why I'm trying to take that
Gotcha.
variable out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. So then that's what we'll do. So if you're in a room where nobody knows how to do it, don't worry. We're gonna get everybody up to speed. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put us in breakout rooms. All right. So does anybody else want to try? You want me to try? Jeff, are you comfortable? What are you on, Jeff?
I'm on just a laptop.
On a laptop. So Jeff, if you bring your mouse down to the bottom where it says share screen, do you see that? Green, big green button in the middle? No?
I just lost like all picture right now.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the word Zoom right now.
Oh, So now on your computer at the bottom, you want to go to, let me see if I can figure out what happened there. So at the bottom, if you go to, at the very bottom, you'll see the Zoom icon. Are you on a PC or a Mac?
I'm on a PC.
Okay, you
When
should see something
I-
that's,
Now I see it.
okay. So do you see that green button? Share screen at the bottom in the middle?
Yes.
So click on
I see.
that,
Okay.
and then what do you see?
I see whiteboard, iPhone, iPad, and
Try
Zoom.
whiteboard. Try whiteboard.
Okay. So now you're seeing that as well?
Yeah. Look at that. Hold on. View options. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. You could do it. You could do it. Do you see anything that says save on your menu there, Jeff?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
can you save? You said you're on, okay. Yeah, could you hit save for me? I don't know. That'll be hard to tell you how to do that. I
It
don't-
says whiteboard saved.
Okay. All right, cool.
Does Google Meet have a whiteboard as well?
Mm-mm.
No.
Not yet. I think it's all coming though. All right, so that works. We know the whiteboard works. Awesome. So now I'm in charge, so so now you should be able to stop sharing somewhere up there. Do you see stop sharing?
Stop share, yeah.
Yep. Go to stop
Okay.
share. Nice. All right.
All
We-
right.
That's great. So we
So
can.
then the children are seeing only the whiteboard when you do that, not
Right. Correct.
you?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
We did
so-
not see, yeah, we didn't see anybody else.
Can the
right.
teachers still see the kids when the whiteboard is up?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, we're closing.
I'm-
We're gonna go back and report out with the big group. Nice. That worked.
Oh,
And it worked, right?
That was good.
That was
Yeah,
good.
good stuff.
The only thing I don't know how to save it. Like Jeff was the one who presented, who shared in ours, and he did click save. So Jeff, this is what I want you to do. Ready, Jeff? I want you to go to your documents folder on your computer. Do I see him? Where are you? Where is he?
Here, let
There
me.
he is. And then Jeff, when you go to your documents, there should be a folder called Zoom. And then you're muted, Jeff. Sorry, there's a lot going on here. Jeff's getting a little trial by fire today.
Unmute. Okay,
Yeah,
I
there you go.
unmuted.
Okay.
Okay,
did you see
and it's
was
in
it-
there.
And the thing was in there, right?
Yes.
Nice.
That was easy.
This is what happens. Well, this is on a computer. I don't know that, and the kids are mostly going to be on iPads. Was anybody on an iPad? Keith, you were on an iPad, right? No.
Yeah, I'm on the
No,
laptop.
Chris is on an
I'm on
iPad.
Zappy is.
So,
I am.
Chris, did you share your did you share a whiteboard or your screen?
I shared my whiteboard.
Did you see anything that said save? Okay, so I saved it. I tried it after everybody left, and you can save the whiteboard to your iPad. So whoever is sharing the whiteboard, at the bottom, they will see the 3 dots in the bottom right corner if you look at this picture. Then one of your options is save to photos. So whoever is hosting or whoever's sharing the whiteboard, so what you would do is you would assign a student to share the whiteboard, and then that student would save it to their photos. So it's totally possible, which is great. That was
All
fun.
right.
Yeah, it's fun. I know we went over. You guys are committed and awesome.
I appreciate everybody coming
Thank
here
you,
today.
Laura.